Hi students, until now in the previous chapters we've learnt about electric current and we've learnt about electric potential. Now there is a law which links electric current and electric potential, and this law is called Ohm's law. In this chapter we will study in detail about Ohm's law, and we will even conduct an experiment to verify Ohm's law. Let's proceed. First of all, what is it that Ohm's law states? Ohm's law was stated by George Simon Ohm, a scientist. The potential difference V across the ends of a given metallic wire in an electric circuit is proportional to the current flowing through the wire if the temperature remains the same. This is what Ohm's law states. Now what does this statement mean? Basically, Ohm's law states that the potential difference across the ends of a metallic wire is proportional to the current flowing through it. So until now we've said that potential difference is work done per unit charge. But what if we don't know how much work is done? In that case, we can use Ohm's law. This is a metallic wire and there is some charge flowing through it. If the potential difference across the wire is V and the current flowing through the wire is I, then Ohm's law states that V is proportional to I. Or we can say that V equal to IR, where R is a constant if the temperature is constant. This is what Ohm's law states. In fact, Ohm even said that this constant R is called resistance. Understood? So resistance is the proportionality constant here that relates potential difference and the current flowing through the wire. So that's what Ohm's law is, V equal to IR. This resistance here is actually more than just a proportionality constant. It actually represents the resistance to the flow of current. Understood? If there is very less resistance, then a lot of current will flow. Understood? And if there is very high resistance, very less current will flow through the wire. So you can see that in this circuit, there's hardly any resistance. So the charge is flowing at a very fast rate. Resistance represents the resistance to the flow of current. As resistance increases, current decreases, isn't it? Because I is V by R. V equal to IR, so I is V by R. So as resistance keeps on increasing, the current in a circuit keeps on decreasing. Understood? So initially, there's a lot of current flowing in the circuit. You can see that the rate of flow of charge is very high. Now we add a resistance in the circuit. Now less current is flowing in the circuit. Now we add even more resistance in the circuit. Now even less current is flowing in the circuit. And now we add yet another resistance to the circuit. And as you can see, very less current is flowing in the circuit. So the higher the resistance in the circuit, the lower the current flowing in the circuit. The resistance is a characteristic of the material through which current is flowing. Understood? So if the material through which current is flowing has high resistance, then for the same amount of voltage, less current will flow. So if you take two materials, one material has high resistance and one material has less resistance, and if you apply the same potential difference across both the materials, then the current flowing through the material with higher resistance will be less, because the more the resistance, the lesser the current for the same amount of potential difference applied. So this is one fact that you must remember. V equal to IR is fine, but you must remember the physical significance of resistance also, that it represents the resistance to the flow of electric current. In fact, every material offers some resistance to the flow of electric current. Even very good metals, which are good conductors of electricity, offer resistance to the flow of current, but the resistance is less. Yet another way to define resistance is that it is the voltage required to generate 1 ampere of current. After all, R is V by I, isn't it? Voltage per current. So the amount of voltage required, the amount of potential difference required, sometimes potential difference is also called voltage, the amount of potential difference required to generate 1 ampere of current is what is called resistance. Understood? So if there is high resistance, then a large potential difference is required to generate 1 ampere of current. But if there is low resistance, then even a small potential difference can generate 1 ampere of current. Understood? So V equal to IR is the formula you must remember. What is the unit of resistance? The unit of resistance is ohm, and the symbol for this unit is as shown. This is the ohm symbol. Of course, as you may already know, 1 ohm is 1 volt per ampere. That's because V equal to IR. So R is V by I. So the resistance is said to be 1 ohm when a potential difference of 1 volt generates a current of 1 ampere. Understood? There you go. This is the symbol for resistance used in a circuit. As you can see, there is a battery here and there is a resistance here. We had already learnt about the resistance symbol in the previous chapter. Understood? So no matter what your circuit, there will always be some resistance. In fact, we try to vary the resistance to vary the current in a circuit. Generally what we do is we keep the potential difference in a circuit constant, but we try to keep varying the resistance in the circuit. That varies the current in the circuit. A variable resistance is called a rheostat. In the previous lesson we had studied that the symbol for the rheostat is this symbol. As you can see, there's an arrow in the rheostat and the arrow can be moved to the left and to the right. Understood? This arrow over the zigzag lines is the symbol for a rheostat, a variable resistance. So using a rheostat you can obtain a resistance of 1 ohm, 2 ohm, 10 ohm or 100 ohms, and depending on the resistance the current in the circuit will vary. Understood? So this is what a rheostat is. As resistance varies, current changes. Now you have just learnt about Ohm's law. So this is the time to actually conduct an experiment in your laboratory to verify Ohm's law. George Ohm said it, that voltage is proportional to current. That's fine, but is that really true? You can verify all this by conducting an experiment. In fact, we will conduct an experiment in the Top Coaching laboratory right here. Of course, for more problems related to the experiment and for more theory, you can always log on to topcoaching.com's science section. So let's go ahead and conduct an experiment to verify Ohm's law. You can repeat this experiment in your laboratory also.